the National Advisory Council on Citizen Security. I raised the point of order on it. I don't know that the country needs to hear any prolonged contest on that. The newspapers recently disclosed to the country that the chairman retired. I don't know how many meetings they've had. The Learned Attorney General comes here today and says to Barbados that they held consultations with the public. I don't know where they held them. I suspect the public does not know where those meetings were held. I saw one photograph of them sitting at a place, it looks like a Laro court. One of them was unable to duck before the camera flash went off. So there he was staring ahead. I am not aware that that advisory council has met. And in those circumstances, the credit of the Attorney General must now stand on slippery ground. To come here today, having ignored the Bar Association, having ignored all of the interest groups in Barbados, and to say that there was consultation with something called a National Advisory Council on Citizen Security, to justify legislation by claiming that you consulted with that body of dubious standing and dubious authority, and one wonders whether it exists at all. And with the departure of the appointed chairperson, I wonder if the Learned Attorney General will tell this Parliament who is the chairperson of that dubious body, which probably does not exist. So that if you try to justify legislation on the basis of consultation with a body which probably does not exist, then that speaks more about the content and the motive behind this legislation than it says anything about the body itself. So that having summarized what the Learned Attorney General said, let us come to the content of our submission today. And tapping people's phones, I'm going to speak in plain language. Tapping people's phones is not a good thing. And there's a space in every person's life, in every person's existence, that is sacred. And I think that's the word the Learned Attorney General used as well. That space that is sacred, it's called privacy. And whether it pertains to a personal relationship, and let us be frank, whether a personal sexual relationship, it could be a relationship with someone at church, at a club, but whatever is contained within that space of privacy, I don't think there's anything in human existence that is cherished more than that space called privacy, even sometimes more than money. Privacy, private relationships, personal relationships. That is indeed sacred and cherished space within one's existence. And a lot of that privacy finds expression by telephone. You are aware, sir, that when people retire, and well, not by experience because you're not retired, nor am I, but we watch our parents when we have them, and they spend a lot of time on the phone. And they do that as an expression of sometimes loneliness. They want to make contact with their friends who are still alive. But that is private space, time spent on a phone. Nobody writes letters these days, and if you write a letter, it is done by WhatsApp. And I'm going to say something about WhatsApp as well, because I can guarantee you, sir, that the overwhelming majority of Barbadians have abandoned the regular line on their cell phone and they only speak by WhatsApp. And that is a statement in a lack of trust in somebody or some persons, that sacred space called privacy has been breached by some person or some persons. And people in Barbados believe, and I'm saying this to the government, people in Barbados believe that the government is actively involved in tapping telephone calls. People believe that. And it is not to offend, it is not to confront the government with offensive material or offensive statements. But I know the government knows this, because even members of the government have restricted themselves to WhatsApp calls and to WhatsApp messages. Well, it may distress Barbadians today to hear that by this legislation, which expresses a certain tyranny, that the technology is available to decode what we were being told was this thing called encryption. And everybody, in preserving their privacy, in locating themselves in that space called privacy, everyone was very happy to hear about this WhatsApp thing and it's encrypted and no one can breach it. Well, today, the people of Barbados will learn, not from me, but the people of Barbados will learn from a government that confesses. And I suspect there will be speeches after this, and I will ask anyone who speaks after me to dare to be honest enough with the people of Barbados and tell them that the technology is available to breach WhatsApp codes, this concept of encryption. And that is distressing, that is dangerous. And the whole discussion becomes very, very serious when we have abandoned regular lines over the last few years, and we have made resort to WhatsApp. And today we hear by any government member who confesses that WhatsApp can be decoded by the order of the government, so that the citizens of this country have lost that sacred space called privacy. And the citizens of this country will now understand that the government intends to do what others say they have been doing for a long time. I'm going to be very brutally frank in here today, because this is a very serious matter. That they will discover that not only have they lost that WhatsApp luxury, but that today's legislation will formalize the government's intrusion into private spaces. And I don't wish to target anyone, but I said it before and I'll say it again. There may yet be another speaker in here today who will confess that he or she uses WhatsApp, and that he or she uses WhatsApp because he or she is afraid of the distinct possibility that he or she is subject to invasion of privacy by the way of telephone calls. This is a very serious thing. We all leave here today, this parliament, and we all leave this parliament, all 30 of us, with the realization that we too may be victims. And I challenge the government and its members here today to deny that any of them, or to deny that all of them, use the regular lines 100% of the time. I make bold to say that every member of this government has joined the majority of the citizens in Barbados in abandoning the regular line and in using WhatsApp. And I know that the majority of people in Barbados, the overwhelming majority of people in Barbados, are using WhatsApp. And why are they using WhatsApp? Just like the members of this government who use WhatsApp, they are using it because of a fear, an active and daily fear that their privacy is being invaded. And they have rested on the belief that WhatsApp has been impregnable, that WhatsApp is safe. It distresses me considerably. And it must distress all of us in this country, including members of this government, that the technology is there to expose us, our private lives. Now, the learned Attorney General advised that we can take comfort in the fact that we don't commit any of the crimes listed in this legislation, and that we don't commit any crimes at all. But that is not a consolation. The right to a private space is not conditional on the fact that one does not commit crime. There is no necessary relationship between privacy, between the right to privacy and the absence of crime in one's life. It is a moral space. It is a space to which one is entitled, even without the element of crime existing in one's life. And that is why it is mentioned in the Constitution. And as the learned Attorney General correctly said, that is why it is mentioned in the Constitution. And the Caribbean Court of Justice has said, contrary to earlier legal belief, that it was not justiciable. And all that means is that previously it was felt that you could not go to court to assert your right to privacy. The Caribbean Court of Justice has ruled that you can go to court. Further to the constitutional statement, guarantee of a right to privacy. You can go to court and have your right to privacy enforced. So that is how serious is the right to privacy. That is how serious is the right to pick up your telephone, whether by regular line or WhatsApp, and have a private conversation. And as I've said before, that right exists independent of the possibility that one may be involved in crime. The two are not related. Logically, they're not related. I could take up my phone at any time of day or night, being distant from criminality, and enjoy that right. And that is why the citizens of this country feel so strongly about it. But there's a trend. There's a trend of governmental legislation. There's a trend of governmental intrusion into the lives of people. Cybercrime, tint, and now today becomes an admission of the possibility, and beyond the possibility, the probability that there are people in this country and possibly in this parliament, and I will confess my own belief that my phone has been subject for a long time to invasions against my privacy. The fact that I'm involved in crime doesn't console me. What disturbs me is that private space has been violated. And I'm just another citizen. And there are other citizens out there who are entitled to feel that violation. The realization that on this day in August 2025, there is a facility, or there are facilities, which on a daily or nightly basis is subjecting the people of this country to surveillance. Now, if that surveillance relates to a suspicion that persons may be involved in crime? I think